Evening, folks. It's John Pettipas doing a video on the evening of Monday, the 13th day of February 2023. It's a tribute to the late Daniel Charles Mackay, the blessed beloved Danny Mackay. He was a proud Cape Bretoner. He was the son of the late Alec Francis, the wonderful fiddler from Kingsville, Inverness County, and his wonderful mother, Jenny. I had a wonderful Aunt Jenny. I still have a pair of mitts she knit me. And Danny represented the very best of Cape Breton. The very best of Cape Breton. He was a kind and good and friendly, lovable gentleman. He's survived by his older brother, Eric, previous sibling, the first child of Alec Francis and Jenny. Little girl died in 1959, the year I was born. It was the first burial that the famous fiddler, Father Rankin, John Angus Rankin, did in the cemetery when he came to Glendale. And then there was Eric and Danny and Mary Jane Mackay, who Danny resided with these last 11 years up in Dartmouth, and her sister, Mrs. Krupchuk. And I tried everywhere to get your first name. I have so many notes in front of me. We'll call you Mrs. Krupchuk tonight. He was an extraordinary man. Danny used to come in the store with his father, Alec Francis Mackay. They'd shop at Sobeys on Monday, and they'd come over to buy kindling, beautiful kindling. And he was so kind and pleasant and good. And, you know, his mother had died some years before. It's 11 years now since Alec Francis has gone to heaven, now joined by his wonderful son, Danny. And he takes and his mother, Jenny, had died prior to that. I remember going to the wake probably 8-10 years prior to it. And they take and he stayed with his father, and his father was able to stay at home till he was 89 and a half, almost 90, the famous fiddler. Alec Francis Mackay of Kingsville, 105, Inverness County, Highway 105. And then he went to stay with his sister, and he was so well looked after. He was kind and pleasant, and he had Down syndrome as a child, and he takes and he was so good. He was a healthy eater. And give him chocolate milk, he'd say tablet. A healthy eater. And he was very kind and supportive to both his parents. He tended the Rock Centre, I understand, in Port Hawkesbury. And once his mother became ill, he went home and he vacuumed and he cleaned and he did dishes and helped get potatoes ready for meals. And when she passed on, lived with his father, then lived with his sister. And that's a very special sister, Mary Jane Mackay. Her brother lived with her, and the survivors come up from China, and she was working from home, and his whole life, that's why he was so healthy and good. And at last, maybe year and a half of his life, he suffered from dementia. And I was at his 60th birthday last year, Danny was born on the Battle of Culloden. So Danny, this Battle of Culloden in April, would have been 61 years old. And I want to say a prayer for Danny. We're going to start with the Our Father. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those trespass against us. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil, and deliver us from evil. Amen. And a Hail Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed are thee among women, and blessed are you, fruit of thy womb, thy baby Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And Danny was an extraordinary good Catholic. He loved going to church, loved going to Mass. From the time he was, I think, 2 years old to 15, his mother took him virtually every year to the blessed shrine of Saint Anne de Beaupré in Quebec. And he lived 60 wonderful years. Actually, almost 61. Here we are, literally. He's died just barely 2 months and a couple of days shy of his, what would have been his 61st birthday. And he said his prayers, and he was anointed by a fine young priest, and he is going to be waked at Green's Funeral Home, I understand, this Thursday. This Thursday, which will be the 16th day of February, from 2 to 4 and 7 to 9. Green's Funeral Home at 507 Bernard Street in Port Hawkesbury in beautiful Cape Breton Island. And his funeral will be on Friday morning the 17th. I'm just thinking, the Battle of Culloden was April 16th, so Danny's being waked 2 months shy of his birthday, which will be the 268th anniversary of the Battle of Culloden. When we get to April 16th, of 2 more months from this Thursday, it'll be the 268th anniversary of the Battle of Culloden. So Danny boy was a pleasure to know. He was a remarkable gentleman. And he was so well looked after by his family, and he touched the life of his mother greatly by helping out when she got ill. And their father was able to stay in his home. He was 89 and a half and called home to heaven. And he greatly enriched the life of his 2 sisters that took such tremendous care of him. And again, I repeat, Daniel Charles Mackay represents the very best of Cape Breton. Kind and good and gentle. And you can't beat Cape Breton, as we know this gentleman's in heaven for all eternity with loved ones has gone before him. So again, I extend my sympathy to his older brother, Eric, and to his wonderful sisters, Mary Jane Mackay, and other sister. I called you tonight for lack of your first name. I'm sorry about that. I call you Mrs. Krupchuk. It's a Polish Iranian name, and we say, as Alec Francis taught me Gaelic, Tapalit. We thank God. We know this gentleman is in heaven with his parents and loved ones have gone before him. And we say Tapalit. And a life very well lived, and he's indelibly touched the lives of so many people. I wish you all the best. God bless, and good night. Bye for now. He was a pleasure to know. Thank you.